time for the renewal of a venerable rivalry, the 264th meeting all time between Minnesota and North Dakota, who two teams are disproving a long-held maxim in college hockey, and that is that upperclassmen will lead the way. For both the Fighting Sioux and the University of Minnesota, it's the underclassmen are doing the lion's share of the work, and they are carrying the team to national prominence. It's the #1 ranked Golden Gophers against the Fighting Sioux, a team that is surging of late and on the bubble in the national title at number 15 in the country, live here on FSN North.
Mentally and physically, when you're heading into a series like this, it doesn't matter. These ones and the Wisconsin ones are the ones you look in the beginning of the season and you circle these dates on your calendar. For me, and I think, you know, I can say it for the rest of the guys too, it's not hard to get up for these kinds of series.
It's a threadbare cliche here at sold-out Mariucci Arena, one that says you can throw the records out when these two schools meet, but perhaps it is no more true than it is this weekend. Although North Dakota is in the middle of the pack and the Golden Gophers with a commanding lead, the Fighting Sioux are on fire and will be challenging. Hi everyone, along with Anthony LaPanta and Doug Woog, I'm Frank Mazzacco. For the Golden Gophers and the Fighting Sioux, it's been these underclassmen that have been doing the lion's share of the work. And for the Golden Gophers, Doug, it's been balance that is serving them well. You look at their top 4 scorers, 2 juniors, 2 upperclassmen, 2 underclassmen, 2 forwards, 2 defensemen.
Yeah, they're spread all around the lineup. And here's Alex Goligoski. You know what? He's a special player, particularly on the power play point. He gets that puck in there, makes a lot of good plays. Oh, the big Wheeler here. Big Blake Wheeler has come on in his sophomore year. A lot of presence around the net. He gets tipped in. He scores some big-time goals. And then there's little Dave Airball, the little guy who makes all the passes, the shots. He's always in the mix someplace. And Dynamite here. Dynamite Mike. 3 goals, hat trick last weekend, and the big victory over DU.
A huge freshman class carrying Minnesota, but it's a huge sophomore class that's carrying the Fighting Sioux. And the team last year lost the likes of Travis Zajac, Drew Stafford, Jordan Parisi, the goaltender, and Rastislav Spirko. It was important, imperative for the sophomore step up. They do. And now they are the leading scorer by class in the WCHA with 150 points. Among them is Ryan Duncan Duck, who's perhaps an unheralded player, but he's clicking at nearly a point per game and certainly cannot be overlooked.
Yeah, Duncan's a good one, no question about it. He picked him right off the top, Frank. You know, and then there's TJ Oshie, who I thought as a freshman last year was maybe the most exciting freshman in college hockey. And his buddy, Jonathan Toews, the Canadian, who seems to play his best hockey in the World Juniors, he's coming back with a real rush this second half.
In goal for Minnesota, the Colorado Springs native Kellen Briggs, who continues to push the records of the WCHA as he moves up the chart. He'll try to suck down the Sioux. Another welcome to Mariucci Arena, the first of 2 games this weekend between Minnesota and North Dakota, and the only 2 meetings of the regular season. What with the rotating schedule, of course. You will see a team in your own building 3 out of 4 years, and this year Minnesota is not going to Grand Forks. 264th meeting all-time, the most of any University of Minnesota opponent. The Gophers holding the edge in the all-time series with 135 wins to 117. We perhaps should have mentioned early last weekend. We will mention early this weekend. The Fighting Sioux have never shut out Minnesota here on campus.
Oh.
And that goes back to 47, 42. How about 1930?
That's good enough, Frank.
All right. 3 whacks at the little duck, and you finally knock him down. Here comes Mike Howe to bring it in. He puts it in the slot for Kyle Oposo. This line with Stoa on the left wing, Oposo and Howe, a sophomore, a freshman, and a junior. And now a first penalty will be coming up in this game. A delayed call on the Fighting Sioux as Kellen Briggs heads to the bench. Mike Finelli will bring it back out at center ice. Blake Wheeler, who's coming to the near side to get the puck, is the extra skater right now. And a rather extended delayed penalty here. It'll be called on Joe Finley as it's thrown into the corner by Alex Goligoski. Finley is the one to touch it, and John Campion at 53 seconds calls the first penalty of this game. Here's our Northland Ford starting goaltender, Philippe Lamoureux. At a 10-9-1 record this year. He's above 500, but his team has not. Missed several games this year with an ankle injury. And Kellen Briggs at the other end for the Golden Gophers with 78 career victories. He's just a couple of victories short of the great Carl Gehring, who played at the University of North Dakota. He is Gehring 5th all-time in wins in the WCHA. Adam Hauser with 83 is the leader in wins all-time.
David Hackstall, the coach, third-year coach. Seems like he's been there forever. He's only 37. But what a nice job he does with his kids.
Finley gets the hooking penalty, and the Golden Gophers on the first power play. There are their power play and penalty kill numbers. Extremely good. Number 1 in the nation in the power play at 21%. They've scored 33 times. And here's Mike Carmen to bring it in. Wheeler, Barabal, Carmen are the forwards with Goligoski and Vanelli back, and they're going to go off on a change. A little tough because you want those guys out on your power play, but they started the game. And now here comes Eric Johnson. Fires it in from the red center line, and it got past Lamoureux to the far side, where Che Genoway got a piece of it. Genoway jams up there. He is one of 2 diminutive defensemen for the Fighting Sioux at 5'9" and 171 pounds. Here's Oposo shooting, and that's blocked. Mike Howe will go over to get it. And this top line, which started the game, is right back out on a rather quick turnaround. Oposo, Stoa in front, gets the feed from Howe, bangs away, gets a goal! Power play. Lamoureux is barking, so is Genoway. John Campion right now says a goal.
Well, what happened there, Stoa stood right in the crease, which he's allowed to do. Excuse me, nobody could move the big tree. And eventually he got 3 or 4 whacks at it. Stoa, who hasn't scored since November 19th, I think, something way distant, a couple of moons ago. He comes through with a tap at the goal mouth. They'll be looking it over again. There he is, he's standing, nobody can handle him. Genoway's too small.
You can be in the crease as long as you don't interfere with the goaltender. His 9th goal of the season at 2 minutes and 23 seconds.
Frank, that's his first goal since the November 19th, at least in a Minnesota uniform. I don't think they're going to be able to pull this away.
We'll show you the overhead look that John Campion, our referee, looked at. Here's Stowe. He's clearly in the crease, but is he interfering with Lamoureux?
I'd say negative. He might get some help from Fabian, but we won't see that. Fabian moved in behind him, but it didn't make any difference. He was stronger than Eric Fabian, and Minnesota gets off to what they'd love to have is a 1-goal lead on the power play.
2:03 the official time of that one on the power play goal for Stoa. That is, as we've mentioned, his 9th, with the assist going to Howe. And Oposo, the 3 forwards, getting the points there, Doug, working the puck into the corner and right to the goal mouth.
Nice job. They worked it down low. It came out from the low side. Here's Howe with the puck here. A little bad. I don't know exactly how the puck first got there, but Stowe got a piece of it. Got inside position on Fabian. That's exactly the opposite way you're supposed to play that. Fabian's supposed to be between the Minnesota player and his goaltender. He was on the outside. It made Stowe the cream of the Oreo.
That's right there. And once there's contact by Fabian, that changes the complexion of the incident down there, and you're more likely to get away with being in the crease once there's contact. Now brought back in by the Fighting Sioux and Ryan Duncan, the sophomore from Salmon Arm, British Columbia, the Salmon Arm team.
If he looks short, he is. That's a legitimate 5'6". There's no cheating. Talk to the coach.
Here's Briggs making a save in close. Ryan Flynn after, but Briggs is right back there to cover up as the Fighting Sioux come back. And we'll go back to the overhead camera and give you a little more motion here as there's the save by Lamoureux, then off the skate of Stoa. And you see, never touched the goaltender. Did he screen him?
I thought it went off the North Dakota player, Frank. Yeah, it did there. But he just couldn't quite get over. Somehow or another, he got froze up.
This faceoff is pulled back by Chris Porter. Here's a shot that skips wide of the Minnesota net.
2 good opportunities by the Sioux.
Brad Miller goes after it. Matt Watkins is the center on this line. Watkins and Miller, the wingers, are 2 sophomores, as this long shot from the point misses everybody. And back out at center, there's 12 members of this sophomore class in the North Dakota roster. Big Brian Lee, one of them. Watkins gets a whack at it, and then it goes up over the glass and out of the rink. And we're going to see here, Doug, you think it came off on North Dakota foot last?
I think it comes right off of this foot here.
How about the other foot?
I don't care about the other one. Right there. Okay.
Not only off it, kicked in by it. All right. Stoa from Howe and Oposo. Up the middle for Jim O'Brien. And now Eric Fabian to take it away. They go from small to big on this team. We're talking about Genoway and being one of the small guys. Eric Fabian from Roseau, a member of their state championship team in 1999. He's 6'2" and a meager 212. Now Jim O'Brien breaking in. There'll be a birthday party for him early next week. He'll finally be able to vote.
Yeah, he's going to be 18.
Time for our McDonald's game plan, which I don't think you've factored into the O'Brien age.
Now, Minnesota trying to get bodies to the net. Some of the bigger guys got to go. You saw what happened when Stoa got their good results. North Dakota, the stars must shine. That would be their big line of Oshie, Taves, and Duncan. Minnesota and North Dakota defense must create some offense. It'll be a low-scoring game unless the two defenses, the Goligoskis of the world and Chorneys of the world, start putting something up on the board.
Now back to get it. Here's Eric Johnson in his freshman year for Minnesota.
Frank, he's the first guy in the locker room every night. Now, I don't know what that says, but he gets there early. You know, he gets in about 4:45.
There's Ryan Duncan, and the puck turned over as Oposo ran right into a check, and then T.J. Oshie could not tee it up. Oshie very much snake, but he's a first-round pick in his sophomore year, but he has only 7 goals this year in 26 games. Now Duncan gets the puck in ahead for Oshie, and Derek Peltier over to get it. Johnson back to pick it up once again. Oshie, however, in a 3-game scoring streak, in which he scored 7 points, and 2 of those are goals. But he's also among the walking wounded for the Fighting Sioux. We'll talk about more on that in a moment as Ryan Stoa celebrates. Very unusual to have underclassmen carrying the mail, but our Toyota Key stat shows you that North Dakota's sophomores are first among all classes, all 40 classes in the WCHA, 150 points, and now Minnesota's freshmen picking up 115th. I believe they picked up one here tonight with the Oposo assist. So they continue to climb, and another chance from the faceoff, Doug.
Yes, get those draws.
Long shot fired all the way through on the outside try there by Chris Vandevelde. He is in his freshman year out of Moorhead. And property, his rights belong to Edmonton, a 4th-round pick. And no small guy in his own right at 6'2", 211. This shot by Taylor Chorney goes wide. It'll be a delayed penalty on Minnesota here. Matt Watkins trying to dig it out. Does. Darts to the top of the circle. And then a poorly placed pass.
Boy, Chris Porter can skate. He doesn't have many points, but he's got the most games played of any collegiate hockey player with 158.
Porter with the pass to the right side. Now it's brought in by Matt Watkins on the delayed penalty. A deflection here, but it went off of Brad Miller behind the net. Watkins shooting again. Chorney jamming away in front. Actually, it's Porter. And as Kellen Briggs covers the puck, John Campion will call the first penalty against Minnesota in this game.
Well, it'll be Barabal will be going here. Doesn't pick up a lot of penalties. Actually, he has his 5th one here tonight. Got 4 penalties for 8 minutes during the season. Power play has been very good to the Sioux. Right up there at the top of the league. It shows, you know, it does show you that they've got good offensive skill when they put their key players together. The big guy has been Duncan. He got himself a bunch of goals here on the power play.
They do have good offensive skills. They've congregated most of it in the top 2 lines here, but that still is making for a very effective power play for them. As you see their numbers, they also have 32 goals, just 2 less than the Gophers, and a 22% coming in. Minnesota's penalty kill also very good at 86.5.
Minnesota's mobile defense makes it tough to get in the zone with the puck. There's a beautiful chance.
Oh, slick play there by Jonathan Taves.
Mikey Manelli, how big is that puck? You should know, you were looking at it.
And here's Lamoureux to play it ahead, and that caught Oshie going in the wrong direction. Now Porter brings it in. Nice sweep check there by Eric Johnson. Takes his man to the wall and shuts down that whole opportunity. Peltier throws it around, the block by Miller. Now all the way back at the line, and a high shot taken by Brian Lee.
That was kind of an ill-advised pass. The puck was shot. The puck was moving. There's no use of hurrying it that much.
Lee and Carmen nearly takes him out, and then Lee has to play Carmen and allow the puck to be picked up by Brad Miller, who gets it to center. Porter back for Miller. And Miller with about a half minute on the power play to the line for Genoway, taken away from him, a race for Brian Flynn. Flynn coming up the rink and then ran out of time and space.
And he ran into somebody else who's a little quicker than he was. Robbie Bina.
Here's Porter bringing it in, and there's Johnson to shut it down once more on this right side of the defense. Peltier back to help out after the loose puck. And Van de Velde had it for a moment, but not long enough to control, and there's Johnson to throw it down the rink.
Van de Velde has not scored a goal this year, yet he's on the power play. So somebody's going to say, why so? Well, there's a lot of confidence in the coaching staff with this young kid. He just hasn't been able to find the time, but they need to use him there, they think.
Thanks to Eric Johnson's defense, the Fighting Sioux held to just one shot on goal on that power play opportunity for the full 2 minutes. The shots are even right now at 6 aside. And the long outlet pass by Dave Fisher was intercepted by Joe Finley, and he throws it back in.
And if Joe Finley looks tall on your screen, he is. He's 6'7", and that's an honest 6'7".
He's also a 252, 12 pounds heavier than last year. Yes, so they do all call Dinkytown home now. The homegrown Minnesotans and the Coloradans. It was Mr. Cornerstone. Off barrel ball stick and then out of the ring.
Minnesota did a nice job except for that rush that Taves put on Mikey Manelli. Give him a little fake walk through his legs, and Mike put his chin down to his chest. When you do that, you're in trouble looking at that puck. But Taves will do that to the best. He's got terrific hands. It's just been an amazing thing that he and Oshie only got 5 goals between the two of them in league play.
Taves part of that walking wounded group that was not healthy late in October. He's played all the games, but a lot of them under adverse conditions. And since the World Junior Tournament, where he represented Canada, he's picked up 7 points in 4 games. I would say that he and Eric Johnson both came back as perhaps improved players.
Kind of a makeshift fourth line here. Brewstrom, Fairville just came off. Howell's going to take it along with Brewstrom and Shack. Shack's coming off, so it's difficult to keep any rhythm in your lines because they're coming off one guy from one line, one guy from another line. It's not the best idea. Not what you want to happen as a coach.
Genoway with a near giveaway, and buzzing once again is Ryan Stoa. Stoa puts it right in front of the shot by Brewstrom just wide. Fabulous setup by Stoa. Delayed penalty on the Fighting Sioux. Briggs is out for an extra skater, but the whistle goes. There'll be a tripping penalty. Let's get an update from Anthony LaPanta.
Well, thanks very much, guys. Everybody's been talking this year about how the Fighting Sioux go from a Frozen 4 team a year ago to 500. Clearly losing 5 players early to the NHL is a part. And you can see that their top guns are scoring at about the same rate per game from a year ago. In fact, their scoring numbers are up. But look at the bottom line, the percentage of the team scoring. They were getting a lot more help last year. This year, that top line has had to carry the load for North Dakota.
Well, a support class, they were actually a support class for the Staffords in group last year. Now, the freshmen from North Dakota have to be the support group, and they're not getting the scoring. They're happy with their players, but they're not happy with their scoring. That would be the coach's opinion.
Here's Stoa putting it right in front, and it just got underneath Mike Howe. It's the second power play of the game. Duncan is off for tripping at 9:30. Here's Eric Johnson. Long shot comes down. It might have been played with a high stick. Flown against Minnesota, and we're going to go back into the Golden Gopher end.
I think Minnesota touched that puck, so there's a little confusion. In other words, if Minnesota touches it, it goes all the way down. If North Dakota touches it, they just have possession. So I don't think that was a total agreement there with the official, John Campion.
But he rules.
He does rule.
Tony Lancet, C.J. Berlin are the 8 Rs tonight in the face-off in the Minnesota end. There's been Matt Watkins in there for North Dakota against Blake Wheeler. Pushed to the line, but Finley keeps it in. Now Watkins, and taken away from him. He was outnumbered there on the rail by a 3-1 count. And Mike Benelli on the power play lays it back for Alex Galagoski. Didn't lay it quite flat enough.
In a hot field there, Frank.
It did.
Yeah, hit a rock.
Hit the seam in the grass, and Benelli brings it in.
Yeah, something like that.
And barrel ball to Wheeler. Up the middle, Vanelli, good backhand catch to keep it in. Gets the shot off. Barrel ball's attempt at a tip didn't work. Now Wheeler to the corner for Barabal. He fans on the pass. It's taken away and driven down by Robbie Bina.
Minnesota has that stick broke on him that time. He didn't drop it till he got near the bench. But that was not an error on his part. Mechanics. It was the mechanical negativity of that stick.
Here's Lucia to bring it in. Tony Lucia puts it in the crease and a tip there by Howe.
Minnesota's done some nice things. They just haven't quite finished.
Eric Fabian throws it down the rink, and there's about 20 seconds left now in the Duncan penalty.
That pass that Vanelli made to Goligoski, that just dumped over his stick. That was a nice idea. Good place to put the puck.
Here's O'Brien in the crease. And as it dribbles back down the rink, Johnson goes after it.
Frank, there's a lack of experience on Carmen's part. He comes down, he starts playing one-on-one on the rush. He's got to take the puck inside the zone, get possession, and get a power play. He's not a one-on-one player when you have a power play.
Duncan out of the box. Here's Flynn in the corner. He gets jammed up by Taylor Chorney. Fights for the puck. O'Brien trying to help out, but Flynn has to fight that battle all by himself. Then it goes off the skate of Oshie. Oshie's long pass, way too far for everybody. Well, they wave off the icing at the last second. That was a close one down there.
Don't quite understand that. Both guys give their best effort to get to the puck.
And I thought the puck crossed the line before Chorney got to it. Now here's Duncan. And from the corner, Vandervelde tries to center it. Vandevelde. Boostrom hauls it to center. Being chased by Vandevelde. In the slot and just out of the reach of the Gopher player Wheeler.
Darcy there. Darcy Zajac with the puck. His brother Tony playing up and down on the big show.
Now Shack with a drop pass. Boostrom brings it in. Drops it there for R.J. Anderson. And Lamoureux makes the save on Minnesota's 7th shot of the period. There is Joe Finley in the corner. And he gave it away to Brian Shack. Shack goes down over top of Bina. And Robbie Bina, yes, he is back. He is playing after sitting out a full year with a neck injury. Robbie Bina is back. And averaging about a point a game over the last 12. That's wonderful to hear. Everybody was wondering whether indeed he would even walk. Now Vandevelde, after intense Minnesota pressure, gets the puck off the far rail. Can't get it too far, however. And here comes Oposo. From center, Bina brought it in, and he got dropped by Jay Barabal. Fisher found himself in a spot, then had to bat it away from Brad Miller. Wheeler with a one-touch pass ahead to Barabal, who brings it in. Back to Wheeler. One-timer on the shot, misses by a half foot. Barabal in the corner. Fires it ahead for Vanelli, but there's contact with the goaltender. We'll have to see if it was O'Brien down there.
Visit a Ford dealer or go to FusionChallenge.com.
Back at Mariucci Arena, we're joined by Gopher assistant coach Mike Gensel. It appears very obvious the game plan for both teams to get after the defenseman in their zone.
Yeah, it's the best way to slow down the transition game right now. They got some high skill guys back there. We obviously got some puck movers on our defensive course, so I think both teams' game plan is to make sure that those 3 defensemen on both teams don't hurt you.
Thanks, Mike.
You bet.
Frank and Doug?
I think he's talking about Robbie Bina, Brian Lee, and Taylor Chorney, and he's also talking about Eric Johnson, Goligoski, and Mike Vanelli, the ones that are going to be the most creative and most offensive defensemen.
We have coincidental penalties out of that contact there, and I was only joking about Jimmy O'Brien being involved only because he was involved with Glenn Fisher not once but twice last weekend. But here it's going to be Wheeler for Minnesota for interference, and there'll be a
should be a 4-on-4 situation.
Oh, you know what? Wheeler's going to get a dive.
Okay.
And an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Lamoureux, the goaltender. I don't know what Lamoureux did.
I wish I could help you.
But after due deliberation, we'll go 4 skaters aside. Draw to Minnesota. Vanelli, nice feed to Goligoski, right in front for Stoa. His deflection this time goes behind the net.
Nice puck movement by the Gophers with a 4-on-4 inside the zone.
Boy, they didn't waste any time. Here's Stoa not wasting any time, throwing it back into the corner.
Well, but Poso got the draw. He just curled it right back to the point, and he walked down the outside.
Oh, Poso, great feed. Verdelli shooting high. Now he sets up Galagaski, who shot, and that hit a defenseman. And then Galagaski tried to pull it up. Another delayed penalty on the Fighting Sioux. Off the bench, up the middle, Galagaski, a goal!
Oh, that is big time, folks.
It was Jimmy O'Brien out of the corner, Doug, who just came off the bench as the extra skater on this attack to set it up.
He made a great pass. That was Jimmy O'Brien, number 18, rolling up the slot. He hits Galagaski, and I tell you, he pinpoints that thing in the corner for the 9th goal. Now that's one of the few times you see where you get the goalie out when you got delayed penalty, and it actually comes into play as Jimmy O'Brien puts that thing on Galagaski's stick. And you know, O'Brien's numbers are going north too. They're getting pretty good.
Alex Galagaski, his 9th goal of the season, continuing to lead the country in scoring by a defenseman and overall. And here's Eric Johnson with a long pass to center, a nice catch. Oops, I thought it was by Carmen, but he couldn't control it. Duncan brings it back in, and Duncan on his backhand, the pass to the far side, and it's just out of the reach of Robbie Bina. Now Duncan trying to circle. Gets it to Genoway. Sidesteps checking of Alex Galagaski and puts one through the crease, put wide. Long rebound for O'Brien. Just one man back. It's Genoway. O'Brien waiting, shooting, and Lamoureux makes the save with the pads.
I think Jimmy O'Brien was tired by the time he got a chance to get that puck. Galagaski's goal, though, was really pretty special. You get puck possession, and he lays it on. Wrist shot, a lot of torque in that stick. I wouldn't say it was a great save by the goaltender. We're seeing it in slow motion, but it did hit the corner of the net right up in the upper left. Well, I'll tell you what, they'd like to get that. Minnesota uses that trailing defense coming in there so effectively. And they got 4 guys, including Peltier, that can make something happen when they come in late.
Galagaski first in the country, and of course first in the WCHA. And points per game came in at just over a point per game. There's a block by Barabal. A second shot is stopped by Briggs. Then Barabal got it ahead, and Lucia got hooked down to the rink. And there'll be another penalty coming up here in the Fighting Sioux. They have been in a virtual parade to the penalty box.
Well, they got the combination of that. And I tell you, Briggs was pretty fortunate. He was not in a very good position when that shot took place. Now, Porter, you know, that's just laziness there. Reaching in, tucking. I mean, Chia didn't necessarily take a dive there either. That stick was right in his armpit. Lazy, didn't move his feet. Chris Porter, Thunder Bay, Ontario, played in that U.S. League for a while.
Gophers will have a 4-on-3 advantage here. And they've been moving the puck around with great authority. This period has belonged to them. And they seem to be the quicker of the team, believe it or not. North Dakota is not slow.
Oshie lost the draw. Excuse me, got the draw on Oposo there.
Here's Oposo, drops it back for Derek Peltier. A blast, it's off a skate, and it comes back to Johnson, who fires another hard, low wrist shot. And the first minor penalties are over. Wheeler is out, and the player serving Lamoureux's penalty is out. Now it's a 5-on-4 advantage, and a little traveling on the far side by Bina. No, apparently not. And to Peltier at center, but there's another penalty. And this one is going to go against Minnesota, and Mike Howe looks like he's the guilty party.
I thought Mike had one in the corner. He had one coming in the corner, maybe not so much when he got outside. But I'll tell you, Eric Johnson took 16 shots, I think, last weekend. He had his chance to. Now watch him tuck in here. I don't think he called it right here, though, folks. I think well, he didn't raise his hand at that time. Let's put it that way. But I was watching to see when Campbell was going to raise his hand. He did not. Maybe he decided later that he should have called it. And did. 4-4 right now.
Fighting Sioux will go to their second power play when this 4-4 is over, which is in a minute 10. Duncan, and as he touches it, it's offside at the Minnesota line.
There's a non-typical Jonathan Taves. Now, this young kid is considered as good a candidate Canadians have in that 20-year-old age group. I mean, he is considered a terrific player. He's just shaking with confidence there. You don't lose the puck when you have hands like he does coming across the blue line. And Oshie and him, you would die to have those two guys have the puck 4-on-4. And now you're dying watching them have the puck.
Exactly. Yeah,
they are too good. It's just talking to Jonathan yesterday, he said, my confidence is not quite there. You know, I just haven't played it, and I'm trying, and I know how that feels.
Out of the corner, here's Boostrom, and then it's behind Wheeler. And Johnson over to get it again.
Craig, I want to make a comment on Johnson. He's just trying like heck to score, and he's got the rocket. It's almost like an anomaly. There's no way it shouldn't go off a shin pad or off a skate or something when you get that many chances.
Yeah, and Dave Hackstall told us also this morning that early this season he just wasn't healthy, and he's battled through it. He's played, but he wouldn't go any further than to say he hadn't been healthy early, and that may have just caused all kinds of problems with timing and whatever. And the Gophers continue to have chances here with Wheeler and Boostrom up front. Boostrom gets knocked down. There'll be a high sticking penalty on the Fighting Sioux. Now, Doug, you're paid by the word here. Yep. I want to hear more than Was that embellished?
I thought it was when I watched it.
I'm hanging you out to dry here.
No, I thought at first it was a penalty, and I thought, no, it's not. And then I watched it's a dive, but
Genoa gets a high sticking penalty at 17:01. I'm right with you. I saw the replay of that. That looks embellished.
Yeah.
Well,
I tell you, if we were in North Dakota, there'd be some boos in the crowd. How's that?
Right. All right, there is a power play in effect now. It's going to end now. We're 4 skaters aside. And now here's Alex Goligoski. 4-on-4 as this shot comes in on Lamoureux, and so does the rebound. He lost his stick, but he has the puck. Boy, is he under siege.
Yes, he is. And if Minnesota could plant somebody on the edge of the crease like they had Stowe there, he wouldn't be able to play fish. He'd have to stay inside that area. Watch what happens. He comes out. Now watch him. He goes back in. He'll come out and chase the puck. If you put somebody in front of him, he can't come out and get that puck because he's got an obstacle. So you got to have a pillar, somebody to stand in front.
If they had more guy out of the penalty box, they'd have an extra pillar to put there. Right now, only 2 forwards.
That's true, but you still have the same number of defenders. Still one-on-one hockey.
Ryan Duncan firing it in. Taves had it, and it was wrapped off his stick by Goligoski. Finley dropped it back, and now back to Duncan at center, and he'll circle. And the Fighting Sioux will go shorthanded again here in about 9 seconds when Mike Howe comes out. Here comes Wheeler. Barabal and Fisher join him, but they lost control of it. Now Taves bringing it in as the power play is underway, and it's buried by Bina. Robbie Bina continues his hot hand.
Now you saw the great hands that Tave had right there. He put that thing like tape to tape. It went across some ice, but it got there so quickly it may as well not have. And Bina looked like a veteran forward. He took it on the tape and just snapped it in the corner. And that was a beautiful play. Not a smart play by Minnesota, but a very good defense, an offensive play. Goligoski did not stay between the puck and the man. Notice, see that happen there? He did not stay in. Puck went on the short side of his stick. Nice pass, though. Nice conversion by Robbie Bina.
A critical goal. It's shorthanded, and Robbie Bina gets his 7th from Taves and Duncan at 18:05. Still 40 seconds left on the Genoa penalty. He went for a high sticking right on the goal mouth again.
Well,
Ryan Stoa.
Frank, we didn't notice Stoa. I didn't notice him much last week. I thought he had a bad weekend, but he certainly has been around the crease and around the action here tonight.
He's gonna buy a condo down there before the night is over.
I didn't realize he'd only had 1 goal since November 19th. But of course, he was gone a little with the U.S. team, but that's still not, for a guy of his caliber, it's not enough.
Well, correct. You put him up to 9 this year. And now this is just out of the reach of Eric Johnson. Kellen Briggs, he sees a little pressure coming from Eric Fabian and throws it all the way around. Under a minute to go in the first period. 7 shots on goal for the Fighting Sioux. They've scored once. It was a shorthanded goal moments ago. An interception, and then Kite right in on goal, and Briggs got in the way, and so did Peltier, and there'll be a penalty coming up on Minnesota. A cross-check call, and this one, perhaps one they had to take.
I don't know who got the penalty, Frank. Well, the Sioux had the puck, but they blew it. Here it is here. You might have called him to go right into the goalie, which I don't think he should have, but that's what I think he called.
Oh, you're right, Doug. They did call Kipe on the cross-check.
And somebody got a message around the league, I would think, about hitting the goaltender, because I thought he went right to the net with the puck. That's part of the job. Well, I'll tell you, North Dakota could be a little restless. David Hextall put his palms up. I think he did not see. He's kind of wondering, you know, what's that all about? But a horrible pass by Eric Johnson. Lazy pass, put Kime right in. Ryland Kime only has one goal this year, 4 up to his junior year, so he's not a big-time goal scorer.
5th power play for Minnesota. Goligoski finds Barabal. Wheeler and Lucia are front. Goligoski's shot was deflected by Taves. Here's Lucia, and he throws it back around. Barabal will go after it. About 12 seconds left in the period. Now Vanelli. Barabal firing. Nice save by Lamoureux. Goligoski. Here's Lucia. Up the middle for Vanelli. Seconds remaining. Goligoski. And it won't happen. Not here. But a minute 18 of the penalty. The Kite will carry over to period number 2. A lot of offense in this one, Doug.
Yeah, a lot of offense, but a lot of offense created by outman situations. Minnesota has 15 shots that they put on the net. Sioux only 7, but a lot of that's been power play, penalty kill type situations. And not really a fast period that I anticipated.
McDonald's interview with Anthony LaPanta and Robbie Vina of the Fighting Sioux coming up at our first intermission. A look at this week's pairwise rankings and first period highlights and stats from the booth. Period number 1 of this great rivalry between Minnesota and North Dakota. The Golden Gophers with a power play goal and a 2-1 lead. Gopher Hockey on FSN North is presented by Grand Casino Mille Lacs and Grand Casino Hinckley. What's your Grand Casino story? By Jeep. Go everywhere, do everything in a Jeep. Check one out today or go to Jeep.com. And by CHS, resources for enriching lives.
Minnesota 2, North Dakota 1. Welcome back to Mariucci Arena, our first intermission show. We're joined by North Dakota's Robbie Vina, who scored the goal for North Dakota. Can you say enough about how large that goal was for the Sioux?
It's huge. We need to get a little momentum going into the second period here. Late in the period, we got it from that goal a little bit, I think, and we can keep rolling from there.
Each of these teams came in seemingly determined to take the body, particularly to the defenseman of the opponent. Was that the game plan coming in for North Dakota?
Definitely. We thought we had to come out here and try and slow Minnesota down a little bit. They're a really talented and fast team, and if we play a body and try and slow them down a little bit, that could work to our advantage.
The way North Dakota's been playing of late, 6-1-1 in the last 8, do you start to feel some things and see some things that this team's starting to believe they can make the kind of postseason run last year's team did?
Definitely. We're starting to get high hopes in our minds. Like, if we keep playing like this, we should be able to go far in the playoffs, and hopefully we can keep it going here for the rest of the season.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Robbie Vina, he has the only goal for North Dakota. Speaking of playoff runs, when we return, a sneak peek. Look ahead at the pairwise when our first intermission continues. 2-1 Minnesota after 1. Welcome back to Mariucci Arena. We're joined by assistant coach John Hill. A physical first period, and a first period that saw your team generate an awful lot of chances.
Yeah, we did. I think a lot of that was due to the power play, but you can tell it's going to be a game full of transition opportunities. We've got to do a good job of not turning the puck over, protecting the puck. We need to capitalize on the power play and stay physical. I thought the guys had pretty good jump that period, but now it's 2-1. It was almost 2-2. So I think the next goal is very important.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Frank and Doug?
Anthony, thank you very much. And yes, Minnesota very much known more and more for its grit. Doug, we have not taken a look at our lines yet. We're going to look just at the forward combinations here to show you how young both these schools are.
Well, sophomore, freshman, freshman, freshman. Go this way, sophomore, freshman, junior. No seniors in any of this stuff. North Dakota's got 2 seniors right here. Fabian and Porter. The rest of it is right across the board. Duncan Staves, Oshie, all sophomores, the big guns.
Only 4 upperclassmen in the lineup as forwards for North Dakota. That would be Porter, Fabian, Kite, and Radke. And right now, Kite in the penalty box for the next minute 11. Power play number 5 continues for the Golden Gophers. Here's Alex Goligoski. Finds Blake Wheeler. Kyle Oposo is up front, as well as Ryan Stoa. Here's Goligoski. Now Oposo. A one-timer by Goligoski. Oops. And now Wheeler. Soft pass, or quick pass, I should say, and nicely picked off by TJ Oshie.
Nice passing by the Gophers, although the Sioux did pick it off.
Briggs to Oposo. Now the lead for Wheeler a bit too far, and Lamoureux had to make the save. Philippe Lamoureux, a junior from Grand Forks. And boy, as he had to pick it up, what with Jordan Parisi among the many players to sign early. Here's Wheeler. Nice check there by Bino. What a mismatch in size that was.
I tell you, Bina's got a big heart and a strong body, but he's not very tall. He took on Wheeler, who's 6'3". He's about 5'8". Robbie Bina in a pretty good collision.
Here's Alex Goligoski turning back to get it. And they throw it in. From the blue line is driven all the way down by Chris Porter.
Penalty, Minnesota.
All right, well, John Campion holds out another hooking penalty. We'll take a look at how young a couple of the teams are. This is a comparison of Minnesota and their opponents this year, as Minnesota, the youngest, perhaps youngest in the nation at 20.6. Then Michigan was right there, and the Fighting Sioux. These are right up to date this week. 21 years of age. Almost.
Minnesota's O'Brien, excuse me, not O'Brien, it was Flynn took the penalty, little trip there. Minnesota had the benefit of these power plays. Usually gets evened out for one reason or another.
This will be only the second power play of the game for North Dakota. In the slot, Oshie backhands one all the way through everybody. Now Lee to Taves to Lee and across to Chorney, and Lee didn't handle it very well. Taves, and it's wrapped off his stick by Howe. Now Carmen drops it to the corner, and Johnson uses the glass to get it down the rink.
What I'm missing here when I'm looking at the Sioux defense, Lee's pretty good size at 6'3", so is Finley, but used to seeing Commodore and all those great big guys, Green, Jones, and it was tough to get through that picket fence when they set it up.
Oshie driving it around, and now out of the air and then down the rink.
A lot of those guys are playing in the National Hockey League, Frank. Just get better and better and better, and over time, of course, Brad Berry, I think, helped those guys as former coach. Now Dane Jackson is there. Interesting to see how that all works out.
Brad Miller, a sophomore from Alpharetta, Georgia.
And I'll tell you, he's not very big, but he's a good player. He got good hands.
Also a 2004 grad of Shattuck St. Mary.
There's 12 guys that played on that team with Chorney and Taves that I think are playing Division I hockey right now.
Out of Shattuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of that group.
Quite a pipeline. That's Genoa faking the shot. Now Bina goes cross rink, and a nice read there by Kellen Briggs cutting across for that shot out of the corner. 18 minutes and penalties in that first period. Anthony, was that part of the discussion between Dave Haxall and the referee?
Frank, that was almost the entire discussion. I didn't hear him reference a specific call other than to say, if you're going to call this, then we're going to have to call everything the rest of the night. 9 penalties in the opening period, and one of the comments he made was, we've played most of our games this year with less than 9 penalties. It seemed to be, obviously there was a little bit more intensity and maybe some more colorful language during this conversation, but the gist was, I'd rather not see every clutch and grab and every tap called the rest of the way.
And I don't think anybody in the building would. I think everybody in the building would agree with that.
Yeah, the problem you get into is that when you go to the next level, let's finish off this rush here.
3-on-2 Minnesota. This is Barabal. He shot it wide, and will it carry him out of the zone? Yeah, it will.
Well, they're regrouping here. You know, part of the problem is you go to the next level. Here, every time I start this topic.
And a chance for Kite, but he couldn't tee it up.
Got to get out of Frank's way there.
Here you go.
Okay, here we go.
as soon as you start that kind of stuff, you run into trouble if you don't call a penalty, because you get to the national tournaments, they start calling them, and then you say, well, why? We never had it that way during the year. We never get adjusted. So, you know, it's not the referee's fault. I think that's the part you got to look at. The players got to quit grabbing and hooking and move their feet.
Here's Lucia to play it into the corner. Yeah, and this series, there's an intensity to the rivalry. I think it's as intense as it is. It may also be as much as a respectful rivalry as any that the Gophers have. I mean, we even saw it last week with Denver getting pretty nasty and all. But these two teams go, and it's pretty much hockey straight up.
Yeah, not always been the case. But the reason I can tell you where there were some fights on the rink, David Hextall took on Benny Hankinson right at the red line. Right.
I wish there was footage. Here is a shot by Darcy Zajac that misses.
And that might not have been the best fight. They went for about 5 minutes, but there was one upstairs in Old Engelstead at the same time was going on. It was the fathers of those guys who were going in it. Not Hextall's dad, but a couple of Minnesota fathers were challenging the people sitting next to him. True story.
Here's Derek Peltz here to shoot it in. And now just out of the reach of Matt Watkins. Boostrom back into the corner, and the hit by Joe Finley. A hard shot by Eric Johnson. Boy, is he bringing it here in the second half. Now Bina firing it behind the net. It'll be grabbed by Finley. And at center ice, Watkins had a problem with it. They're having a difficult time coming up the rink with the puck, aren't they?
Well, it's not smooth right now. It's not smooth. It's not crisp.
Right side knocked out of the air by Howe, and he fires it behind the net.
There hasn't been anybody in the last 8 passes who caught the initial pass. It's gone off somebody's stick or missed somebody. And now you have an icing.
Indeed we do. All of the goals in this one scored in the first period. 2-1 Minnesota. We'll look at the snowy mall here at the University of Minnesota. We showed you lines a little bit earlier, and a little bit of an untold story out of that grouping there with Minnesota. Is there one forward short here? Ben Gordon sitting out 1-game suspension for that fight against Denver. Oh, and a slick move. At least Torrey thought he would make a slick move, but then he lost the puck. So Gordon is out on the 1-game suspension for fighting or receiving. And then Tom Pohl out with a shoulder injury. Evan Kaufman with a knee injury. They may not be back for a week or 2 yet.
I think they're coming back when they get back from Alaska. They probably won't make that trip, but they should be healthy to play after that. They get a week off, too, after the Alaska trip, so that gives them 3 weeks.
There's Oposo. And, well, I thought it was a glove catch there by Briggs, but no, it hit a body out front.
Somebody, Dupa, the backside.
Dug off the rail by Duncan, and the shot goes into the corner and then skips off of one of the supports there all the way down the rink.
Tony, number 4, picking up the puck from Hastings. Probably one of the classic skaters. He's got strong stride.
Tage brings it in, got bumped there by Mike Carmen, who came in out of nowhere. That forced the turnover. O'Brien with an outlet pass. This is too far. It'll be icing against Minnesota, having just passed the 7-minute mark of the period. Well, Ben Gordon out of the lineup, and he had some great chances last weekend in the Denver series. Pokes there after beating Glenn Fisher. And another look at it. Then this backhand, and he's robbed by Fisher. Now you'll see him in the upper right corner of the screen there. Receiving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he got a minute of penalty for each punch he received. And here from the face-off, the Fighting Sioux stormed the Minnesota net and scored a tie-up.
Just so you're seeing all the action, there was action at the rink there.
It's going to be Eric Fabian, Doug. You talk about big men going and plugging up the front of the net.
Oh, that's what you told. Howe did not take his man, or that O'Brien, who's taking the draw there. Jimmy O'Brien, I tell you, we talked about that last week. When you're facing off, you can't let that guy that you're challenging walk by you. You got to stick a stick between his legs. That's a cardinal sin for a centerman. That's what your job is. If you don't win the draw, you assume you're not going to win it, you have to tie it. Now, if you're going to assume you're going to win it, you're going to be wrong half the time, so you got to play defense first on the draw.
That's an even strength goal and the first non-special team goal, if you will, considering that Minnesota scored with a delayed penalty. It's Fabian's third from Kite, and that's a big man, Fabian, going to the net. That's a lot of body to move.
His brother Mark was in the Budet, the coach at Budet last weekend when the Fox put together that program with Jimmy Rich and Weibel doing the broadcast up there, Frank. The coach was Tom Moose Johannes and Johnson and then Mark Fabian. But I tell you, Minnesota has not suffered much pressure in their end, and all of a sudden it's 2-2 tie. This could rejuvenate the boys from North Dakota, because they haven't really done a lot, and yet they're still tied.
Seven shots in the first, 3 more shots here in the second. They're tied at 2. And from center is Matt Watkins. He'll drop it back to the line. Finley is in a bad spot there, taken away by Wheeler. Got the shot off, got a rebound off, but the rebound went behind the net. There's a force to be reckoned with. Another big man in Blake Wheeler. Now Goligoski, and he gets pressure in a hurry. That was from Kyle Radke. That forces a bad pass. Chorney can't get it in, and it does get it in, but it is offside. Well, the Eric Fabian goal, his third of the year from the faceoff. He celebrates a 2-2 score. Country Insurance, who's hot? It's Minnesota's Kellen Briggs, the senior goaltender in his last 6 starts, has a 4-2 record and has been a stingy 1.16 goals against average, saving nearly 97%. His season numbers, goals against, put him number 1 in the conference and number 2 in the country.
This is not a classic North Dakota and Minnesota hockey game so far. Where you'd see up and down fast play. It's been kind of lethargic and pretty air prone with the passes.
Yeah. Sloppy was my word. Error prone is more diplomatic. Up the middle. Oh, slick move. Genoway shot blocked by Briggs, but the rebound is stuffed in, and North Dakota with 2 unanswered, and now the lead.
They earned that one. That was their best sortie, and I tell you, Genoway, 5'9" kid from Swan River, Manitoba. Wow, he was also a shot at St. Mary's, and he just danced around at the point there. I think he danced around Howe. Waltzed in there. Oh my goodness, it was not very good here. Stoa was the first one he walked around. Watch how they converge on Briggs. I mean, he's got people coming in, and everybody looks like they want to come in, and boom, the puck gets shot on the left side. And North Dakota having fun right now. And I'll tell you, watch out, because they get a little bit of juice. Should get some momentum from that last goal.
2 minutes and 17 seconds apart. Jonathan Taves, his 7th of the year on the rebound, with Genoway and Oshie getting the assists, and Taves now with 3 goals in his last 5 games. Our CHS trivia question, which 2 former WCHA players currently lead their NHL teams in points. You're all over this one, aren't you, Doug?
I was writing a note to myself, Frank.
All right.
I'd have to see that one more time. Writing a note to myself because
2 former WCHA players leading their respective NHL teams in scoring.
Okay, I could take one that played here, one that played in North Dakota. That'd be my guess. Could be wrong.
Vanek and
Blake, Jason Blake.
That would be interesting.
It's got to be close.
I would say would be if it is him interesting. Then he just get put on the rumored to be put on the trading block, which astounds me that anybody would want to get rid of him.
Okay, here we go. We got 3-2. 10 minutes gone in this first period. A new hockey game. Minnesota, see what they do.
This is Genoway going cross rink, and now it's played ahead by Brian Lee. And here's Briggs to leave it for Anderson, and the Fighting Sioux look much more assertive here in this second period. Bina dumps it behind the net. Porter gets it back. Porter puts it in the crease, and it's swept around by Anderson. Bina, the block, he'll thread it in deeper. And where the Fighting Sioux in the first period were having trouble with the puck, pretty much here controlling until now when they give it away to Wheeler. and Lucia gets it out of the zone.
Minnesota's dancing to a waltz.
Gonna wave off the icing. Oh, but there will be an interference penalty call. Folks, be sure to tune in to the Quest Gophers Live pregame show tomorrow night. We'll take an in-depth look at the father-son and player-coach relationship shared by Tony Lucia and Don. From a gut check in his sophomore year of high school to recruiting trail, Tony and his father talk about the process that ended getting him into the maroon and gold. Story tomorrow night on Quest Gophers Live, starting at 6:30.
Well, Robbie Bina will set. Minnesota can tie this up with a good power play. They're capable.
Bina for interference. And the sixth power play of the game for Minnesota. They have a power play goal from Ryan Stoa tonight. Here's Howe with the puck. Stoa is at the lip of the crease. This is Johnson to Oposo. Down low for Howe. Peltier is out there as well for the Golden Gophers. Here's Howe shooting, and someone got a piece of it, and Taves drives it down the rink.
Minnesota was 1 out of 2 getting the puck down to Mikey Howe. He fumbled it once. The second time he got it, and just that one fumble, you just can't do it and be successful.
Gophers changed 3 players on the fly, and this hard shot by Goligoski misses everything. He'll have to come back and help Eric Johnson out.
When you shoot outside the dots, you got a chance for that puck to come out of the zone. I say outside the dots. In other words, the face-off dots. If you stay inside those, that angle is like playing pool will work in your favor. You get outside them, it might jump out of the zone, which it did.
Boy, North Dakota is taking away lots of time and space here in this period, where they were not doing that so much in the first. Jay Barabal behind the net, watched by Brian Lee. To the point for Vanelli. This is Lucia. To Vanelli for a one-timer. It's right on. Lamoureux the save and the rebound cleared in a hurry by Lee.
Mikey Vanelli, nice one-timer. Tony Lucia put it on his stick. Pretty nice little pass. Mike had 3 goals. One of 3 Gophers in all in 44 years. Louis Nanny and trying to think of the other guy that and Benny Clymer. Only 2 guys besides young Vanelli to get 3 goals as a defenseman.
Barabal puts it right up the middle, and Vanelli. A block by Lucia. Here's Goligoski. Down to Lucia. Off his stick. Now to Vanelli, and it's off his stick back to center. Bina is out of the box. And it's dumped in by Goligoski. He got clobbered pretty good by Matt Watkins. And now the Gophers change as the Fighting Sioux get it up to Jonathan Taves, who cuts, shoots.
Nice save.
Whoa, great left leg save by Briggs. He kicked it out of there. And Bina goes back for it, but not fast enough. It's icing against Minnesota. 6.5 minutes to go in the second period, which has belonged to North Dakota.
North Dakota leading by a goal. Welcome back to Mariucci Arena. We're joined by assistant coach John Hill. I think you sensed the momentum swinging in this game late first period. It's carried over into the second.
Yeah, we did, and I think the one that hurts the most is the face-off goal they got when they pucked it through our center's legs and then scored. But you know, there's a lot of hockey left. We have a lot of respect for their program. We knew that they were going to come hard, but our guys will respond too, and hopefully we can tie this thing up.
Thanks, John.
Next goal is important.
Absolutely. Thanks, John.
You're welcome.
Frank and Doug?
Well, I tell you, John Hill, always the honest guy. Honest John. He's got it pegged pretty well. He should. He's the coach.
Here's Zajac. Flipped into the zone by Kyle Radke.
Whoa, ho, ho, ho.
Vandervelde, I didn't see the hit though.
Oh, good hit.
Bina with a shot is blocked.
You know, Frank, let me just make one comment. Now, you don't have to be a great player right now, skill. You just, if you're from North Dakota, with the lead, you can play just aggressively and go in and forecheck, you bump guys. You don't have to necessarily have the puck a lot. That is really an advantage for the Sioux.
And the Gophers having a hard time generating any offense. Our CHS trivia question tonight, we're looking for 2 former WCHA players who are currently leading their NHL teams in points. We had a, whoa, are you good there, Doug, on Blake? Danny Heatley.
Who's got more than, oh, he may not be, you got Guerrero, he's got a few other guys, doesn't he, up at, who's Buffalo's got besides Vanek. Anyway, Vanek is right there. Heatley, Vanek is third.
Third on the team?
That's what I heard someplace.
I'd have lost that bet too.
But he's right there. Now Blake He speared Crosby the other day. He said, absolutely, I didn't do it. He said, I never do that. Well, I watched him play. He was pretty good.
Now another penalty coming up. We've had more than a few of these tonight.
Well, Minnesota's standing in their own end. They're not moving quickly, not shutting down. And when you're chasing, you're more likely to get the penalty. And this is Peltier going to go here. Watch this now. He's got to be chasing. Well, I tell you, you got to be able. It's a tough game right now when everything is being called.
14:43, the holding penalty, and it'll be the third power play for the Fighting Sioux. They've had 3 shots on goal.
All your life, you're told to put the stick between a guy's legs to contain him. Then the rules change about what's going to be called, so it's hard. I can't blame Peltier for that. I'm not saying it's a penalty, not a penalty, but that's how you're taught.
Well, they got him for the hold, so apparently maybe it was the body contact along the rail. Good job of plugging him up and slowing him down back behind the net. Taves gains the zone, got the puck behind Oshie, and here's Chorney. Now Lee, Taves going across quickly. This is Ratke, or I'm sorry, it's Duncan, right across the goal mouth.
Well, this power play is moving the puck.
Now Lee. Out of the corner, Duncan. Chorney back. And a nice deflection there by Vanelli. He just put his stick out, knowing that puck was going to be in the vicinity, and got the deflection, even though he had his back to the shooter by giving chase to the corner.
Good call, Frank. Mike Vanelli anticipated that and jumped out, put that stick on there. Terrific. And the puck movement has been good for the Sioux right now.
Yeah, they found their skills.
They got a little more jump in their step. It's amazing you get to lose pucks, how much better you are when you got the puck.
Now Bina drops it back. Here's Bina again. Screen shot, never reached the net, and then the scramble, it goes to the corner. Brad Miller over to get it. Bina taken away by Howe, trying to fight through a check, got it to Lucia, and he tried to slip through, but he couldn't get through Genoway.
That was a good non-call. Crowd's booing, but that was a good call.
Porter brings it in. And Van de Velde in the corner. Miller to the point. It was deflected and it's back out of the zone. Peltier will be out in 6 seconds. Look out, Van de Velde. And a drop pass. That shot broken up. Andrew Kozak. First time we're calling his name tonight. And here's Peltier out of the box. Intended for Flynn. That doesn't work. And the Fighting Sioux just take it right away and throw it right back in. Anderson laid it in the corner. Ryland Kite goes after it. Now Brian Lee stepping up. Back for Kite behind the net. In the crease. They bang away. And it looked like Kozak was going to get one there.
Johnson without a glove in his right hand.
Here's Carmen. Whoa, he turned, cut, went down, and there's going to be another penalty.
Eric Fabian will skip for 2.
Bad breath will get you in the box tonight. Grand Casino game summary with the Fighting Sioux scoring 3 unanswered goals, 2 of them here in the second period. Taves has a goal and an assist already. Ryan Stowe and Galagaski have the Golden Gopher goals. Galagaski was on a delayed penalty situation, and the Ryan Stowe goal started the game on a power play, just 2:03 in. And usually, here's a chance for Carmen. Usually an early goal like that is a death knell, but the Fighting Sioux have rallied for the lead.
What you're seeing now, Minnesota's power play, that first pass that's made is not being handled cleanly. It's bouncing off a stick 3, 4, 5 feet. By the time you recover, you're going to start all over again.
Carmen brings it in. Turns back there with Finley watching as Vanelli gets it to Galagaski. Down low to Carmen. One-timer by Vanelli, and it didn't get much on that one, and the Fighting Sioux clear. Taves.
It's not so easy, folks, and that puck's coming from about 30 feet with a lot of steam on it. You got to time it just perfectly, and it's not an automatic situation.
Galagaski ahead to center. Vanelli goes cross rink to Oposo. Slips Genoway. Comes right in and fires one. Great move by Kyle Oposo. What a great move.
Well, he's so strong, and he takes it to the well. That's where you get the water, and he went right for it. He comes in off the left side, makes Genoway look like he just got back there. There it is right there's Genoway, and he's so strong, cuts back on one of the forwards. He's got such good edge control. Watch how opposing cuts now. Now he cuts inside the next man. It's like a skier in a slalom. It takes good edges. You got to bend your knees so your edges can get in the ice the proper way until you get the power.
Sucked Matt Watkins in too. Here's Johnson shooting. There's a big rebound, a backhand try in close for Howe. And then it's cleared to the near side and out.
Eric Johnson, once he scores his first one, it's going to be like a flood wall is going to break for him. He's just going to score. He'll get 5 or 6 before the end of the year, but he's got to get that next goal.
Yeah, for as well as he's playing since World Junior time, not picking up nearly enough points to reward him for the effort. This is Peltier, Stoa again. Oposo, Howe, shot goes in the corner.
Mikey did a nice job of getting that shot off, getting inside the Sioux defenders. I don't know how he did it, but he made a good play there.
Here's Oposo spinning on a dime. Mike Howe again. Oposo goes cross rink for a tip intended there by Peltier, and then it leaves the rink.
Ryan Duncan sagged back, took away the lane. There's so much lane consciousness now. Blocking shots and lane blocking. Get to the lane first and put your stick out. You saw what he did, 16. He got back to the weak side, cut off that pass cross ice, tipped it in the stands. 2 seconds left here. Watch out for a breakaway play.
Draw to the Fighting Sioux. Bina in the corner. Penalty is over. Fabian is out. Down to about a half minute to go in the period. And here comes Taves. Brings it in the crease. Collision there, and Briggs gets knocked down. And an AR is going to call a penalty.
He shouldn't. No, I don't think so. Oh, is he gonna? I don't think so. Oh, come on. No, you're going to call him for a cross check. Wow.
Oh, it's a Minnesota penalty. And O'Brien. O'Brien's going to get a cross check. I don't have any problem with this one. Critical. Our intermission will be coming up. We'll go to ice level. Our McDonald's interview. Anthony will talk with Alex Goligoski. Talk a very special moment or two about father-son relationships in this game. And of course have highlights and stats. And I mean in this game of hockey. Here's Chorney firing right on. Rebound. Briggs made a big save. Another rebound and a goal. And a 2-goal North Dakota lead.
Well, Oposo got a pretty good view of what was going on because he was standing right next. I think it was Duncan that shot that thing in. He got it off so fast. Taves is the only other left-hander on that unit, so it had to be Duncan or Taves standing in there banging away. Nobody took him. You'll see in the replay on the right side. Duncan standing there. Number 9 is going to stand right next to him. Vanelli moves in on the player here now. There he is. Standing there all alone. Too slow. That's a job. Oposo's got to come back. He's got to sag, take away that body. If you don't, rebounds could happen. That's what happened right there. How about this period for the Sioux?
3 in the period, 4 unanswered. 18th goal of the year for Ryan Duncan. Chorney will get 1 assist. Oshie the other. Now Minnesota will have a significant amount of regrouping that they will need to do. The Fighting Sioux, when they score 4 or more goals this season, they have not lost. They're 9-0. Coach, your thoughts after 2?
Well, I got to credit the Sioux because they were pretty awful the first 18 minutes, 16 minutes. Came back in that second period, and we're down, but made some really nice plays, showed some composure, and you know what it was? Some of their big guys that we talked about started to play a little bit better.
Indeed, they have. Bina, Fabian, Taves, and Duncan have scored the 4 North Dakota goals to erase a 2-0 Minnesota lead. Anthony LaPanta will be coming by in a moment or two with Alex Goligoski, and we'll talk father-son.
North Dakota 4, Minnesota 2 after 2. Welcome back to Mariucci Arena. We're joined by Gopher defenseman Alex Goligoski. Alex, maybe as frustrating a period as Minnesota's played all season.
Yeah, you know, we took some penalties that we shouldn't have, and we're, bottom line, we're getting out-battled down in our own zone in front of our net. I think, you know, all their goals have become in front of our net, and that's not acceptable, and we need to turn it around here if we want to have a shot at winning.
Each time when you look back at a season, there are a couple points at which you can point a finger and say, this is where our season was defined. You get the feeling like this might be one of those points.
I mean, yeah, well, we got outscored 3-0 in the second period. That's just unacceptable at home, and we, you know, we got 20 minutes here to come out and try to get some points out of this.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, thanks.
Alex Goligoski had an early goal for Minnesota, but 4 unanswered for North Dakota. The Sioux lead 4-2. More on our second intermission in a moment.
With Doug Woog, I'm Frank Mazzocca. We missed one stat there in our Chrysler stats, and that was Doug's birthday number, but it's a secret. It will never come off my lips. However, I will tell you this, he's a long-standing member of our...
Oh, under the bus, let me out.
Well, look, they sign you up when you're 50, and so you've been in there a while.
Yeah.
You know, 7 or 8 years, or 9. Let's get an update from Anthony LaPanta.
Thanks very much, guys. Mike, obviously a night where things aren't going very well for Minnesota. How much do you think all the lineup juggling over the last month might be a factor tonight?
Well, it doesn't help. I mean, obviously we have a little bit of lack of continuity right now, but you know what, quite honestly, their top guys are playing really well tonight, and we're not really on our game right now, and we're getting outworked and out quick to the puck, and we've got to play a little more intense this period.
Thanks, Mike.
You bet.
Gopher assistant coach Mike Gensel. Frank and Doug?
Anthony, you were in the tunnel there and you couldn't see, but Mike Gensel could have been doing play-by-play at that moment. He was describing just about exactly how the top-end guys of the Fighting Sioux, and he was describing a scoring chance right there by Oshie.
Well, I tell you, Taves and Oshie put something together right there. You can see what they have. We're going to maybe another look at that, just how quickly that developed, and Briggs didn't know. Briggs doesn't look real sharp either. He's part of the team tonight, you know. I don't think... Oh, they've got an icy call coming in here. Let's take a little look at the rush by North Dakota. Coming off the wall here. Here's Duncan. Great pass. Look at that interchange. Within about 2 seconds, you get Duncan to Taves with a great shot by Oshie. Now counterattack. But that's how quickly they move the puck. You can see how they can be dangerous. We said early in the game, they're going to have to, the stars are going to have to shine, and those are the 3 stars right there.
Hockey straight up by the Fighting Sioux. They're coming at the Gophers hard. There's Barabal to shoot it in. Now someone was in ahead of the play, so a delayed offside is waved off. And a long outlet pass deflected by Lucia, nearly picked off. Chorney gets the loose puck out at center, and he brings it in along with Watkins, and that pass comes behind and through everybody. Barabal in the middle of a line change. Barabal bringing it in, shooting wide. Peltier after it, but Chorney is there first, gets a piece of the puck, not enough to control. Now Chorney nurses it ahead. Brad Miller in the zone. Miller going to his backhand. Briggs the save. In congestion, Watkins in the crease.
Boy, Miller showed you a little nice little dipsy doodle there also.
Barabal bumped hard by Che Genoway. Genoway bringing it in, and he got blasted pretty good there.
That's Johnson's corner. You leave him alone down there. You start mucking around. He doused a couple guys last weekend from Denver as well.
Support me here a little bit, Doug, if you or disagree, but Eric Johnson has played in the last 5-6 games since the World Junior Tournament much better than his 1 assist would indicate.
Yeah, forget about the offense. You know, it's just not going to fall for him. He could put 900 pucks on the net, and something will happen right before he gets to the goal mouth. But his value has been moving the puck up. He's been firing that biscuit. Other people getting chances. He's played his best hockey the last 6 games.
I agree. 5 games coming in, and now this one the 6th. This is Carmen. Down low to Flynn, and Anderson. And Brian Flynn in the corner. Mike Carmen after it. Now it's batted ahead by Oshie, but too far on the near side for Watkins. There's Anderson getting it up ice. Fisher will try the same. It's tipped by Stoa into the zone.
This is where I see Minnesota's difficulty. If they fall behind, they don't have any seniors. They've got not one senior other than Mike Finelli. He's at the blue line. He can't be up there paddling around the net. it's going to be a factor, I think, as they close down this last half of the season. I'm not being a negative person. I'm just saying when you don't have any seniors that can through this kind of deficit where you're down, you get the playoffs to face, you're tired, whatever the negativism is, whatever the negative situation is, you don't have anybody that's been through it and say, hey, guys, just keep grinding away. We'll be all right. We'll be all right.
At about 7 o'clock tonight, I was talking about an old maxim that says you need upperclassmen to carry the load, and saying how that's being disproved. Well, not totally. Because you're exactly right, Doug. They're going to need some of that leadership. And now a penalty out of that fray there. All right. Minnesota needs to find itself. Maybe they can do it with a man advantage.
Ryan Duncan's going to get a penalty here. Post's been pretty noticeable going to the net here so far. He's been one of the guys that has made some plays, although defensively around the net. He's been there and watched one of the taps go in. Actually, the 4-3 goal, the 3-2 goal.
8th power play of the game for Minnesota as you look at Ryan Duncan. He has 2 points tonight with a power play goal and an assist. Each member of his line, Duncan, Taves, and Oshie, with 2 points in this game. So they account for about half the team's scoring points. Their big guys, as Doug mentioned, are producing. Here's Vanelli to get it in. Wheeler, Barabal, Lucia are the forwards. Vanelli, Goligoski on the points. Goligoski to Vanelli. Couldn't get the one-timer off. Now Goligoski again. Down low. Lucia. Wheeler getting beat up in front of the net by Genoway. Here's Barabal. Now Lucia is in front. Goes up the middle. Vanelli turns back to Goligoski to Vanelli. Down low for a one-timer, and Barabal hardly got anything on that one.
That was a missed opportunity. Good puck movement by the Gophers on top. Moved the puck down, which is a good play. But Barabal fumbled the puck as he was going to the net. In other words, you make the first 3 passes were ideal, perfect, sets it up, and Jay didn't quite finish it. Oposo's been pretty good on the draw. What he's trying to do here is going to turn around and try to kick the puck back to his point. Yep, didn't get it.
With regular line mates, Howe and Stoa out for the power play here. Vanelli winds and fires, and Lamoureux had plenty of opportunity to see that one. Howe got jammed up in the corner pretty hard by Joe Finley. Vanelli again to Goligoski. And now down low to Stoa. The corner, Howe, Goligoski, Vanelli, and a chase for Oposo this time. Vanelli, they're trying to set that one-timer up, but it's not coming anywhere close to working. This is Goligoski in the middle for Oposo's tip. Taves takes it away. Actually, Oshie kicks it to center. Here comes TJ Oshie bringing it in shorthanded, and he runs into a hip check there from Goligoski.
Nice play by Alex Goligoski.
Pass was behind Oposo, but he got a nice tip from Stoa. Battles to keep it in with Lee, and then finally grabbed by Kipe and shot out of there. Goligoski gets pressured. He got knocked down as he tried to get away from Eric Fabian. And Goligoski will go off tired on a change. O'Brien with the penalty over, and Duncan out of the box. To Flynn, and that had Lamoureux reaching up, but he gloved it and made the stop. Now time for a dot.
They're going to have to score a goal on the power play here. I don't think you can score 3 goals without getting something on the power play. So I think it's going to take some effort, get a penalty call against the Sioux and come up with a G. I think that's the best formula for him.
Chris Porter got it in. Here's Flynn. Now brought in by Peltier. Runs into a check. What is North Dakota doing different here in periods 2 and 3 that they didn't do in the first?
Number one, they're moving their feet. They got a heartbeat, and that makes quite a bit of difference. Minnesota got a little bit lulled into this, kind of a false sense of security with all the power plays they had. Didn't set up the game of work ethic.
We told you about head-to-head competition here with a couple of these outstanding classes. The freshmen from Minnesota against the sophomores for UND. The Fighting Sioux sophomores have 7 points tonight and a +6 rating, while the Gopher freshmen have accounted for only 2 points, but more telling here is the -5 rating.
Well, you got to score some goals. There's no question about it, because they don't go against you on a man short situation. But when you're even up, you don't get credit for power play on that plus and minus either.
Well, that makes it all the more. Well, you get a minus on a shorthanded.
Oh, they give minus?
Yes, you get a minus on a shorthanded, which North Dakota's first goal was a shorthanded goal, and then the power play by Duncan. And there's Oposo got knocked down behind a delayed penalty on the Fighting Sioux. And boy, now Stoa got tripped up on the far side. Will there be one or two? John Campion sees only a high stick thus far.
I don't think he's going to call two. That's pretty aggressive for an official to do that. Now, Oposo, one of the things he's done, he's drawn a couple penalties because he's one of the guys that's moving his feet and he's strong. Picked up at least 2 penalties here. Now he's got the big penalty. He's discussing, I think, the family tree. No, maybe not.
Second straight power play for Minnesota in this period.
This happens right around the net here. Right now, their stick gets up high. Bina reaches in. But one of the things that Oposo's doing that other guys aren't doing, he's going hard in the net. He's forcing some things to happen. But you can't do it with 1 or 2 guys. The whole group's got to get tied into this thing.
A little bit of debris back in the Minnesota end, so there'll be a slight delay as Bina is off on that high stick at 6:57.
On this face-off, Oposo will try to get his leg in and turn around his body and get it back to Peltier. He hasn't been very successful lately, but that will be his strategy here.
Here's our lineup for the Toyota postgame wrap, part of Quest Gophers Live, and the postgame show. We'll be looking to find where Minnesota's offense has gone and do a preview on the Timberwolves and the Sonics game, which will be coming up immediately after that show. Draw to Minnesota. Peltier, Oposo, slick move, fires hard, rebound to Johnson. And now chase for a loose puck. Chorney gets to it first and gets it out of the zone.
Good play by Chorney. Johnson, in a normal situation, has shot the puck on net, but when you're having such tough luck getting it through, it starts to be a hesitant situation too.
Now that's nursed ahead a couple of times, finally brought in by Oposo. It was Peltier to Howe, then Oposo. And Howe fires it across to Johnson. Looking for Oposo. Out of the crowd to Peltier, another long shot blocked, and that one off the glove of Eric Fabian, and he's shaking his left paw. Here's Peltier to Oposo. Peltier, boy, they're forcing the Gophers to shoot from right at the blue line. Now Johnson moves in a bit, and the shot right on Lamoureux.
Not uncommon for the Sioux to play it that way. They force you, and then they collapse and make a great, big, nice net. Capture net right at the goal mouth. Watch this now. After the shot's taken, watch how they respond. They come. I tell you, Lamoureux's played pretty well, Frank.
Yeah, he does. As with the team, he's got a 6-1-1 record in his last 8 starts, with goals against average rivaling Kellen Briggs in his last few appearances at 1.6 for Philippe Lamoureux. Remember, he was injured earlier this year with a high ankle sprain, and boy, I can't imagine a position where it would take any longer to come back from a high ankle sprain than with the goaltender. He has played in 14 straight games, but his ankle wasn't healthy in all 14 of them.
It gets squeaky, it hurts, and then it feels. One thing Minnesota has not done, they're not getting a good effort checking people. They're not staying with. They lost that draw, but they could have got the draw if somebody would have stayed in front of one of the Sioux guys. They're just not doing a good job.
Howe waiting, down low, Wheeler, right up the middle, Goligoski, down low again. And they're just batting the puck around, hoping that it'll find somebody. Now Goligoski again. Lucia whips it to Vanelli, down low. Barabal hits the outside of the net. Barabal tracks it down. 17 on the power play. Chorney watching Barabal. Wheeler's stuff try won't work. Here's Vanelli. And now Goligoski. Fans calling for him to shoot in the final seconds of the power play, and he puts it right on the stick of Chorney, and the Fighting Sioux get rid of it easily.
Well, what the defenseman's doing, he's reading how many guys are down underneath. What happened there, Minnesota had Wheeler down there, but they had 2 defensemen, so Goligoski didn't want to just give it away.
And And this one inadvertently put out of the rink at about the halfway point of the third period. Philippe Lamoureux carrying a huge part of the load.
Cover America's hottest products at your Dodge dealer.
Corona, what's on tap? The next 4 games for the Golden Gophers. The rematch here against the Fighting Sioux tomorrow night. We're on the air at 6:30 on FSN North. Up north to Anchorage. No TV in the next 2 games, and then we'll rejoin the team as they get out to Colorado Springs for a couple of games against the Tigers. The Tigers having a fairly consistent year this year, consistently good.
Once they got through the injuries early, they've been pretty consistent.
Yeah, and I don't think their record didn't suffer terribly in the early going.
Well, they had a lot of guys. When they came in here, they were a hurt team. They didn't have Sweat in there, and then he was out for, who else? Proser was out, so I thought they were missing a few guys. They lost Sterling and Polish. Not Polish, but Sertic. They were down, early on.
And the Gophers beat them twice, shut them out in one of those games, and gave them their 3rd and 4th straight losses as Flynn has a chance in there. But after that, they haven't lost any more than 2 games in a row. And back at the line, here's Anderson. Quick update, Doug. With
the big guy, number 2.
Oh, a reaching stop there by Lamoureux. And then at the side, O'Brien is dumped, and there'll be an interference penalty. And yet another potential gift for Minnesota here, but they're going to have to start capitalizing on the power play chances.
Well, the big, this is Bina again. He's made quite a few trips over there. He's a battler, but Flynn's been getting eaten up a little bit by Finley. That's what the crowd was cheering about. Now, Flynn's a pretty good-sized guy. He's in that 6'2", 6'3" area, but he's still 4 inches shorter.
While Minnesota, which can normally live on its power play, has gotten their 10th power play opportunity tonight. They have just 1 power play goal, 15 shots on goal.
Frank, it's kind of like you can breathe with them, but they need some other energy too. They need some other things going on for it besides just that power play. I think you were going to allude to that. That they just,
Well, right now they got to have at least this to get going, and then they run right smack into the check by Oshie, who comes in short-handed. Drop pass, and Porter's shot stopped by Briggs.
My goodness, what a nice play. Oshie showing his skill tonight. I tell you, that's the difference if you had Duncan or Taves finishing that shot, then it's 5-2. But that's the life. Boy, Minnesota turned the puck over at the defensive blue line, creating that breakaway situation. I tell you, if you're down 2, you got to be a little concerned because your team is faded a little bit. They've lost a little energy. You get guys playing sporadically. Too much reliance on a couple of defensemen. Some of the forwards got to get going. I mean, it's still in first place by 5 points, but there's some things that have to be mended here.
Boy, I think that middle comment that you had there about relying too much on 2 defensemen, Goligoski, Vanelli, is weighing large here.
Yeah.
I mean, every time, to be honest, if you take a poll of 10,000 people here, ask them what they're thinking every time one of those guys touches the puck. They're thinking goal. We got to have something for one of these 2.
Yeah, and it should be something up front.
You're right. Now another power play rush, just snuffed right out at the line.
Here's another thing that you got to look for as a viewer. Will they get into a one-on-one situation? When you're down and you're young, tendency is to do that.
They bring it in 3-on-2. A one-timer by Stoa, and the stick snaps in half.
My favorite stick.
Here's Barabal, realizing he's got no one to pass it to because Stoa's headed to the bench for another stick. They're joined now by Wheeler, and that shot comes right through. I don't think Wheeler touched it. Peltier, Barabal, Oposo, shooting. Lamoureux the block. Wheeler reaching for a loose puck, but Lamoureux has it.
What Wheeler's got to do, he's got to dig his skates, and he can't be pushed out by Kipe. Kipe's 6'1", 195, no difference in speed. Watch, tough here, but he's going to walk out, which is the right thing to do. He's going to try to sink the puck. But watch Wheeler get moved out casually. Too easy. You got to grit in there a little bit. That may be what they're having trouble with. Not to pick on him, whoever else has been doing the same type of situation. You got to battle in there. You got to fight for that inch and that turf, especially when you're down.
Agreed. Goligoski's pass, that's tipped. Oshie tipped it out of the zone. Now Oshie gets in the way of another pass, this time by Vanelli. And Vanelli uses the boards, hoping to get it around to Goligoski. There's a lot of hoping and praying in a lot of what the Gophers are doing. Bina steps out of the box, 5 skaters aside. Just 2 shots on that power play for Minnesota. And here's Lamoureux out of the scramble trying to make make a save there, and he does. Wheeler beefing that there should have been another penalty.
North Dakota maintaining a lead third period. We're joined by assistant coach Mike Gentz. A lot of power play chances, but so far nothing doing with the man advantage.
No, if you can't score in the power play, you get more discouraged as the game goes along, and there's so many guys sitting on the bench that aren't having a chance to contribute, and then when the top guys don't score, it gets even more frustrating. So it's a real tough game right now, and now all of a sudden we're playing one-on-one hockey. We're not moving the puck at all.
And one of the first big challenges you face late in games here at home this season.
Yeah, you know what? It's been such a smooth ride all year long. You know, we haven't had any adversity, and, you know, it's okay to have some adversity now because we'll find out a little bit about our team.
Thanks, Mike.
You bet.
Frank and Doug?
Lessons to be learned. Thanks very much, Anthony.
And you got a lot of young guys that are going to be learning them too. It's just, I mean, even when you start out with a face-off, I mentioned that earlier when Fabian scored, when Kipe just walked right through O'Brien. Those are such, you know, they're very curable. You don't have to be a good player. You just have to know the basic rules of where you got to be at certain times.
Delayed Minnesota penalty coming up. Probably a hold that occurred on the far boards in the zone to our right.
Jimmy O'Brien, I think, is going to, you know, Jimmy's picking up an excess number of penalties for the amount of points that are being accumulated. Right along the edge here. Now he grabs him by the head, throws him around.
I'd say that's a hold.
Yeah, you got, I mean, the referee's not going to call it. I mean, he's not looking for things to call. He's got other things to do. John Campion's hoping the clock will go, you know, kind of tick, tick, tick.
Doesn't get paid by the hour.
No, or by the penalty.
It'll be the 5th power play for the Fighting Sioux, who have controlled this game by virtue of their control in the second period, and thus far here in the third.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Minnesota's got 10 more shots, but that's because of the power play, not because of other dominance.
One of the significant things you talked quite a bit about it also, is the physical play, Doug. That's something that Minnesota started to pride itself on, particularly through the halfway point of the season.
I agree with that.
It's gone here tonight. It's a shadow of its former self.
I think that's well put, Frank, and that means grit and grinding too. That's the hustle and the stay in front of that. We just saw Wheeler get moved out during a shot. You can't do that.
Here's Johnson, and there's what Dormouse pass. Oh, she turns and shoots again. Brings another block. Lee at the line will line it up. He finds Chorney. They go down low, looking for the shot by Taves.
That'll tell you something by itself. The number of rebound shots. Nobody was taking a gut body. That's why those sticks were getting on there.
Chorney, and it's just out of his reach. We alluded to the fact that the power play percentage and the numbers for the Fighting Sioux were very good coming into this game. 32 power play goals, a 22% efficiency, indicating, as Doug said, skilled players, and we saw a lot of it right there.
Yeah, and when you can get that many shots off, bang, 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 4 means nobody's picking a stick up, nobody's grabbing somebody, nobody's eliminating anybody. And I say nobody because there's 4 different people who took whacks at that puck.
Here's Bina back in his own end. What a significant factor he is on the blue line.
I never thought he was going to come back and be able to do what he's done. You know, first of all, he's not very big. He's 5'8". Played a little bit that first year. I think you just got to give him a ton of credit.
It's really our first chance to look at him, and you know, that freshman year, I don't want to evaluate anybody, particularly in the freshman year. You don't know how they're going to grow up. Well, he's had to grow up off the ice.
You know,
this is a nice-looking defenseman.
Yeah, and he's diminutive in height, but he's got such a huge heart. He works so hard. Now he's picked up with 3 penalties a night, pretty close anyway. He's got his share. Not being shortchanged in that regard, but that's because he's where the play is.
Yeah. Here's O'Brien from center ice to get it in. That last penalty is over as O'Brien is out. And now Finley gets it to center ice, and it'll be dumped in by Kozak.
Now you'll get a chance to see how smart they can play the Sioux, because there'll be one guy in to pick up the wingers.
Here comes Wheeler. Yeah, I'm just grunting because Minnesota just doesn't seem to be, a lot of times, not even trying to make passes. Here's a shot by Anderson that hits a body. There's a degree of desperation that we haven't seen in their game. Here's Wheeler. Off the rail, Carmen. Barabal to Peltier. That was crisp.
Nice
But again, he was shooting from 58 feet.
Wheeler went through the crease and got a little bit of a tip on it, which was a positive thing to see.
Johnson. Carmen. And it's right on the stick of Oshie. Let's make it Jonathan Taves. He runs into Eric Johnson, and the shot hits the outside of the net. Only 4 minutes left in this one. Carmen will throw it in. Gophers needing 2 to tie, and they're going to struggle to get 1. Here's Vanelli, and it's back to center.
Sometimes this is not a bad time to pull your goaltender. Everybody's kind of assuming you're going to go down to the 1 minute mark. Pull them at 3, get maybe sometimes a free shift without knowing you have the goaltender pull. Now, Don's not generally an aggressive thinker like that, but that's, I think it's one of the better times to pull him.
Here's Vanelli, and they throw it in. And Doug, you're going to get a phone call Monday morning from George Gwozdecki.
Oh, I am?
Yeah, because it wasn't more than about 3 weeks ago that you were talking about him pulling a goaltender.
But it was with
18 minutes left in the period. But,
yeah, it was 14.
And I believe you mentioned that it doesn't work, but okay.
I said I'd like to see the record. If they ever won a game, then they did that.
Not holding your feet to the fire, just to the embers. Another broken stick.
I tell you what, there's a lot of that metallurgy down there.
And dumped in by Fabian.
Oh boy. The boys are going to feel badly when they get in the locker room tonight, the way it looks. And one, because they lost, but two, because...
Oh, big giveaway here, and a goal! Ryan Duncan on the giveaway. It'll be an unassisted goal. And the salt that is rubbed in the wound.
Well, Minnesota had a 2-0 lead here. So this has not only been a victory for the Sioux, it's been kind of a massacre.
It's a 5-0 rout, basically.
Glenn turned it over. Well, and I'll tell you, the goaltending hasn't been any better than the play either. It doesn't make any difference at this point. Got a point-blank shooter. And I tell you, this young guy, I think it's his 19th goal of the year, Duncan.
Indeed.
Came in with 17, picked up 2 tonight.
Whoa, the last 2 goals. One with 11 seconds left in the second period on a power play. And now here, unassisted, at 17:25 to make it 5-2. And you remember last year how good the Golden Gophers felt in getting the first and then the second game victory in the sweep up at the Grand Forks at the Ralph Engelstad Arena. There's a sizable number of Fighting Sioux fans here feeling pretty darn happy. Duncan with his 18th and 19th. Slamming the door in the Gophers' face. Had their chances. But only one. 2 goals and an assist. Stoa and Goligoski, the only bright spot offensively for the Golden Gophers, and they scored at 2:03 and 14:20 of period number 1. And that's it.
Well, I'll tell you, Frank, you got to give the boys in the green and white end block a lot of credit, because they just, you know, they were awful for the first 20 minutes for the most part of it. They were flat, they were timid, they were waiting. And they got down 2-0, and you would think that's a pretty big hill to climb. But they just kept taking little chunks, and that big goal towards the end of the second period with 10 seconds left was kind of a statement what might happen in the third.
Absolutely. Be sure to stay with us after our game tonight for the our hockey post-game coverage. And then, of course, the Timberwolves, new head coach Randy Whitten will be behind the bench. The Wolves will head to Seattle. They're taking on the Supersonics. Coverage begins at 9:30 here on FSN North.
Frank, looking at this one's not over as far as time-wise. It's over in terms of the game. But, you know, when you're Donnie Lucia staff, Mr. Hall, excuse me, Johnny Hill, you know, you get yourself in a situation against, so what do you do? I mean, if guys aren't going to work as hard as they have to, they're going to realize this is going to be the only way you're going to win. There it is!
There's the long one. Eric. you want, Doug?
No, okay, poor guy. Give it to him. Brewsome, you can take an asterisk. I think if Minnesota's going to go somewhere, Johnson has to find a few of those twines.
Well, they laid down through there pretty nicely. The deflected goal, it's a power play goal, which means Minnesota scored 2 power play goals and 1 with an extra skater on a delayed penalty. And in effect, special teams goal, and those are the only 3. Now they pull Briggs with just about a minute to go in what is a 2-goal game now. Johnson getting it ahead. It hit C.J. Berlin. It's swatted by Porter back out at center. Watkins got it as far as the line. Now Johnson, long pass, that's picked off. Still an empty net down there. Johnson will go back for it. Boy, Minnesota mustering 37 shots on goal. As Doug mentioned, 11 power play opportunities. This one will miss the empty net, and Goligoski over to get it. But kudos to the straight-up Fighting Sioux, bringing their hockey to Mariucci Arena. Here's Wheeler, kicked away by Lamoureux. And rallying here, here's another shot off the base. They put it up the middle. This is Vanelli going across. Goligoski firing. It never reached the net. And then it's thrown down the rink. Will there be icing with time left? Yes. What did he do that for?
Well, he wasn't hearing what his coach. Here's the hit of the game here, Frank.
That was Kyle Ratke with a pretty good bombshell.
I remember that. Later in that same period.
Anderson, I think he got.
It sure was Mr. Anderson, and he got popped later in the game, RJ did.
Four seconds roughly left, and as it's grabbed now by Che Genoway, this game comes to an end. Our Dodge players of the game. The guys have been carrying the mail for the Fighting Sioux almost all year long. Their sophomore class, 12 in number. Tonight they account for 8 scoring points in leading North Dakota to a road victory. A 5-3 win over the Golden Gophers. A road victory puts them at 8-4 away from home this year. That's a good record.
Yeah, that home record is not so good. The away record is terrific. You know, and again, credit to these guys because they were down, they were flat, they had all the penalties on them the first period. Goaltending wasn't spurred. They really had nothing to hang their hat on other than maybe what's in their heart. And they came back and played the second and third period like they were the team that they thought they were when they started the season.
2 points across the board for the top line. Our final score tonight for the Fighting Sioux. They get 5, Minnesota's 3. It's time now for Quest Gophers Live.
FSN North's Gophers coverage continues. Quest Gophers Live starts now.
At Mariucci Arena, a great rivalry is renewed for the 264th time, a rivalry that dates back to 1930, and a victory on the road for either school in either city is a sweet victory indeed. And tonight it's the Fighting Sioux to come up with a 5-3 win over the Golden Gophers. Golden Gophers had a 2-0 lead in this one, and one of the heroes for the Fighting Sioux with 2 goals tonight, Ryan Duncan, good enough to join us at bench level. Ryan, when this game was down, when you guys were down 2-0 in this one, how confident were you that you could come back?
Well, that's something our team has really learned to deal with in the second half of the season. Those type of bounces and those goals weren't going in for us the first half. Even though we were facing a little adversity and we'd be down by 2 goals like we were here, we didn't lose confidence, and we still felt that we had a shot at winning the game. So we never gave up, and that's just the way our team's been rolling here in the second half.
Nice job of that with your line there. It's got to be fun to play with those 2 guys.
I'm pretty fortunate. Those guys are first-round picks for a reason. Those guys are going to be making a lot of money one day. Jonathan and TJ, they make things a lot easier for me. I'm just really fortunate to have the opportunity to play on the same line with them.
Well, you might have been the smallest guy in the rink tonight at 5'6", but you played like a guy that was a lot bigger than that. You showed a lot of hands, a lot of smarts, a lot of character, young fella.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Ryan, tell us a little bit more about the mental attitude of this team as it changed across. You did not have a very good first period at all, but what kinds of things were said in the dressing rooms to get you the result? And I think you really took the physical play to Minnesota in the second and third.
Yeah, well, I think that goal late in the first period for us to make it 2-1 was a big help for us. We went in the locker room and we felt that we still had a chance and that we could make plays on this team, even though they're a great team and they're a #1 team in the country for a reason. We still felt that we had a chance, and we just wanted to come out strong and have a good second period.
Well, Ryan Duncan, thank you very much for joining us. Part of this great sophomore class. You guys are really carrying the mail. 2 goals tonight for Ryan. Thanks again for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, the Fighting Sioux victorious. Our post-game wrap, the Toyota post-game wrap now from Mariucci Arena, where the Fighting Sioux, you have to take your hats off to a team that works as hard as they do. I'm sorry, but I still like to call it just straight up hockey. They come at you, they play a real honest game.
Doesn't make any difference who's coaching there. Gino Gasparini, Dean Blaze, now it's David Hackstall. And their tradition is earned. And it's neat to see. And I like people who maybe fumble a little bit, come back and show their backbone and complete plays and win games.
Well, another big story tonight is the play of Jonathan Toews. And Jonathan, you're part of this sophomore class. Seeing this team transition from last year to this year and grow up, how important is this win for you at Mariucci Arena?
Oh, it's huge. We talk in the dressing room that we basically got to play playoff hockey right now. It's basically at that stage where it's do or die for us, and that's the way we played tonight.
Jonathan started the first period, middle of the first period. You came over the blue line, lost the puck, kind of fumbled with it, and it looked like, oh my God, deja vu. But what happened after that?
I don't know. It's sometimes the puck bounces around on you, but I was able to chase it down. And that first goal for us was huge. And Robbie Bina, he's been great for us, and he put it away for sure. So it was unbelievable to get that first goal and get on track tonight.
Jonathan Toews, thank you very much for joining us here tonight. Enjoy the win, but I know there'll be more work for you tomorrow night.
All right, thanks a lot.
Jonathan Toews, our guest, and the Fighting Sioux 5-3 victors here. We'll go to our FSN North studios.